What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this really quick discussion about Love and Marriage Detroit's Season 1 Reunion Part 1. So we're at the end of the show. It was a good show. It gave what it was supposed to give. This is Season 1, so I don't want to be like overly critical because this is a brand new cast. I'm thinking that they're trying to get their footing as far as, you know, how to work this whole reality TV game. The good thing about newbies like this cast is that they really haven't mastered the art of manipulation like the more seasoned reality TV pros. So they're still a little bit vulnerable. They're a little bit they're kind of like bearing their all. They're kind of giving you like their real raw self because they haven't quite mastered how to manipulate the situation to the point where, you know, you're getting a lot of fakeness. So for that, I'm going to give them an A for that part because they were a little bit vulnerable, honest, upfront with who they were. So that was, to me, I like that part about them. But I know as if they're going to come back for season 2, 3, and 4, I know they're going to get more. They're going to have more knowledge on how to kind of give just enough to stay on the show, but not give too much to appear too vulnerable. So let's get into it. Brandon got rid of his man bun, which I was really happy to see. I'm glad that he cut his hair because I was sick and tired of that man bun. Christina finally got rid of her braces. And as far as the outfits, my favorite outfit of the night was Kobe. I thought that orange dress, that reddish orange dress was just really, that color was beautiful. I liked the beading on the dress. I love the sleeves of the dress. The sleeves look like, you know, a flower blooming. It fit her so well. I like the fact that it was, you know, hugging her body and it had this train at the bottom and the sleeves gave us a lot of drama. So I loved Kobe's dress. Her dress to me was the best one of the night. Coming in second would have to be LaToya's dress. Her whole entire look to me gave me old Hollywood glam. It gave me Harlem Renaissance. It gave me classic beauty. She chose a simple black, it wasn't simple, it was a complex dress, but it was just all one color. It was all black and it had really nice beading. It gave us the razzle dazzle that we needed. Maybe it could have been a little bit too much, a little bit maybe, yeah, but it is a reunion and you have to bring the drama. So hers was the second best that I liked. Coming in third would have to be Christina's dress. I thought the style of the dress aged her. I didn't like the style of the dress. It didn't make her look young and fresh at all. The color of the dress probably was also kind of like too old for her, but between the style and the color, I did like the color. The color gave me Ice Queen, which is perfect for Christina because Christina kind of comes off a little bit cold-hearted. She kind of comes off very reserved. She kind of comes off like, you know, she doesn't show too much of herself. People think, you know, people call her fake because of the fact that she always wants to present herself in a certain way, like she's really got it together, that she's not affected, that she doesn't get emotional. And so it kind of comes off like Ice Princess or Ice Queen. And that's why I think that the color fit her, because the color of that dress reminded me of winter and ice and snow and icicles. So we started off with Brandon and Christina. So how do they feel about being on the show? They said that being on the show helped them really examine themselves. The show was kind of like a mirror to their relationship. Like it made them look at their relationship a little bit closer. They kind of figured out the areas that they needed to fix. But, you know, Brandon and Christina, to me, both of them have a hard time admitting where they fall short because I think they were talking about, I don't know if it was Christina. I think Christina was saying something about, you know, Brandon. Oh, this is what she said. She said, I'm glad that Brandon got to see that sometimes he comes off a little bit rough around the edges. He always denies being as rough as he is, I guess the way he talks to her. And so she was like, hopefully seeing himself on the show helped him see that he does kind of come across kind of rough the way he talks to me. And Brandon was like, he kind of denied it. He was like, no, I really didn't see that, or something like that. And then Christina didn't talk about, you know, what did it being on the show, how was she critical of herself? She didn't talk about any of her shortcomings or any of her downfalls. They didn't mention that at all. So I don't know exactly what they meant when they said that being on the show helped them look at their relationship a little bit closer. It helped them examine their relationship because neither one of them wanted to admit, you know, where they fell short. So Then they talk about Brandon and his relationship with this former artist that he was working with that kind of caused them to have this, not kind of, it did cause a huge strain in their marriage. And Carlos asked Brandon, were you having an affair with this other girl? Were you developing feelings for her, falling in love with her? And Brandon has said no to all of the above. He was like, no, it was nothing like that. Basically, it seems like to me, if we're going to believe Brandon, that it wasn't a romantic relationship or a sexual relationship. It was just he kind of was like using this artist or using this person kind of like as a sounding board to talk about his feelings and whatever issues he was having with his wife, which is like, well, why wouldn't you talk to your wife about these things? Why would you put this on an artist, someone who you're supposed to have like a professional business relationship, but you're texting her, all your deepest, darkest secrets about your marriage? I mean, that didn't make any sense unless y'all were having a relationship that was not just all business and professional. But he wanted to make it look like, I guess like they were friends or something. And Christina had read the messages. Something had happened. I guess he kept he left the computer on. The browser history was still there or whatever. Somehow or another, she had access to all the text messages between Brandon and this former artist of his. And she had read everything. And so Carlos King said, out of all the things that you read of what your husband was saying, what hurt you the most? And Christina said, when he had told this other person that he didn't like his wife. And I felt that because I was like, that's deep. That's deep. For your spouse to tell someone, I don't like her, because you can love your wife all day and all night. You can love her as much as you want, but you can also not like your partner. And that probably cuts deeper than someone telling you, I don't love you anymore, because that means that, yeah, like you don't have any, in his eyes, there's nothing redeeming about you. He doesn't like you. And so she said that hurt her the most. And she kind of got emotional about that. She got teary-eyed about that. And Brandon's excuse was that during that time in their marriage, he felt like she wasn't nurturing enough, that she would criticize him more than lift him up. She would criticize him more than support him. So he says, yeah, she was overly critical and not very nurturing. Y'all should have been communicating. I don't know what else to say. They should have been communicating. Like, you don't tell this to another, and then you don't put it in a text message. Like, what? How do you know that this person, even if Christina had not seen the messages, how do you know that this person is going to use that as leverage against you and one day show it to your wife or expose it to the blogs or something? So Brandon was kind of dumb for doing that, but he felt comfortable enough to confide in her, in this former artist of his, to confide in them like that, when he should have been talking to Christina or should have been talking to one of his homeboys about whatever issues he was having with his marriage. So that really broke her heart. And so Christina, they talked about Christina's comment when she said to Brandon that she can have any man that she wants. And some people in the cast felt like that was really, really harsh for her to say that. I didn't see that as being harsh at all. I think that's just letting him know that, don't get it twisted. Don't think that I'm always going to be here for you and, put up with all your BS. You can treat me any kind of way and take advantage of me, and I'm just going to stay right here. No, the sun does not rise and fall around you, Brandon Smith. So, if you don't appreciate your wife more, she can go get whoever the hell she wants to go get. She can do better. She can go find somebody else. I didn't see anything. To me, that's facts. That's facts. She can have anybody she wants. That's facts. Maybe not anybody that she wants, but she can definitely, she's got her choices. She could pick and choose who she wants to be with if she didn't want to be with him anymore. So I didn't see anything wrong with her saying that. I think that's just kind of like keeping him on his toes, letting him know that you can't take advantage of the situation. Just don't sit here and think that I'm always going to be here, even when you're messing up. Moving on from there, we have LaToya and Anthony. So they talk about Anthony moving to Atlanta and how that caused a rift in their marriage. Y'all, for the life of me, I don't understand how there was this huge miscommunication of what Anthony was doing in Atlanta, because Anthony makes it seem like he was there for work and that he eventually was going to come back. LaToya makes it seem like he was gone for good and that he needed to come back home ASAP. So I don't understand how there could have been a misunderstanding in what the hell was going on with something as big as him moving out of the home to a whole nother state to start this career or to enhance his career with Marvel Studios. I just don't understand how they were confused about what was going on. So I don't know. So he says that he was there for work. He made it seem like I went to Atlanta because there was an opportunity for me to make a whole lot of money with Marvel Studios. But they don't really talk about, and what was the end goal? Was it to bring your family to Atlanta? Was it for you to make this money real quick and go back to Detroit? Like, what was going on? But he was gone for 7 months. So there was no talk about time frames as far as how long he was going to be gone and when he was going to be coming back. I don't understand how there was like no understanding between LaToya and Anthony about his plan of going to Georgia. I don't know. I don't know what was going on there. So LaToya talks about how she needed him to come back ASAP because the kids were going through a really tough time at school. I guess they were going to a predominantly Caucasian school. They're being picked on because they were black. They're experiencing a lot of racism and prejudice. And she needed her husband there to help her deal with these issues with their children. He talked about, you know, it was one, he didn't respond he says he did not respond very well when LaToya wanted him to come back home. I would love to have known exactly what he said to her. But then when her family also got involved, that's when he realized that, yeah, he should come back home. I don't understand why there was this misunderstanding. Because if my husband is packing his bags to go to another state for work, I'm going to want to know, okay, we're going to have a conversation. Is this permanent? Are we planning on moving to this other state once you get situated over there? Is this temporary? So if you get the job, are we all moving there? Are you going to be just traveling back and forth between the two states? I just don't understand how they didn't know what the hell was going on. She wanted him to come back. He wanted to stay. What was the... Anyways, moving on. So then also Anthony says that because he had supported her in her wine business, she should have supported him in his decision to go to Atlanta to work for Marvel Studios. And LaToya was like, I didn't care about the money. I needed him home in Detroit helping me with the children. I didn't care about the money. And I don't know why it came into the conversation of how much each of them put up for opulence. I didn't understand what the point was. Was the point that I put up so much more than she did, so she should have supported me because I put up so much money? I just didn't understand why they talked about how much. Y'all are married. Y'all are one unit. So in essence, y'all put up $200,000 for opulence. Now, what did you give and what did you give? I thought y'all were a married couple and everything was done as one. I don't understand. But they also feel like that the show had a positive effect on their marriage, and let them see, you know, I guess they were able to also really study themselves and fix whatever needed to be fixed because they were like watching themselves from the outside in. And they say that they're both in a really good place right now. Then they talked about Kobe and Christina and the breakdown of their friendship. Kobe says that she's just as much of a big dog influencer as Christina is. In fact, she has more followers than Christina. So my question is, why did the show present it as if Christina was the big sis, Kobe was the little sis, Christina was the mentor, Kobe was the mentee? They made it seem like Christina had a bigger following. She was a bigger influencer than Kobe was. But Kobe on the reunion stage said that I'm just as much of a big dog. I'm just as much of an influencer as she is. And in fact, probably bigger because I have more followers. So why weren't you the big sis and the mentor? I didn't understand how that worked out either. So, they say that they haven't talked since the show stopped filming. Okay, so y'all haven't talked. Y'all really aren't friends. What do you want us to say about that? Y'all are not talking, not communicating. There's no friendship there between y'all. A friendship, like everything else, you have to put an effort in it. And if you don't want to put the effort in, then y'all just aren't friends. Kobe and LaToya say that Christina comes off as really fake. Probably because she doesn't really show her true colors. Christina is very reserved, and she's not like a girl's girl, Christina. She's not a girl's girl. I think she sees women as competition. And so she kind of keeps her distance and she doesn't really get close to other females. I don't think she really trusts women. So as much as she talks about her husband's childhood and how it has affected him as a grown man, which in turn has affected their marriage, I would love to know about Christina's childhood and her upbringing, why you come across as someone who really doesn't trust women. I don't, that's how she comes across to me. Like, she doesn't trust women. She doesn't want to get close to women. She sees women as competition, like with the whole Harper Ray thing. So I'm interested in knowing about her upbringing and how she was raised. Christina thinks that LaToya treats her differently compared to Kobe. Yeah, LaToya does treat her differently because LaToya doesn't like Christina. I don't know why I don't know why LaToya comes off as fake when it comes to her true feelings about Christina. I don't think LaToya likes Christina, but she doesn't want to come out and say that, because Carlos asked her several times, do you like Christina? And she would say, I don't have a problem with her. I don't have a problem with her. And then Carlos was like, that's not the question. Do you like her? Do you understand what the word like means? Do you like her? And so she says, yeah, I like her. I just don't like some of her ways. Well, what ways of her do you not like? And she says, I don't like how she always plays the victim. And so then Christina says, give me an example of me playing the victim. And LaToya said the wrong thing. She said, well, you play the victim with your husband. That was the wrong answer. You want to choose a situation where she plays the victim, I guess, within the friend group, not so much within her marriage, because what goes on in that situation is strictly between her and Brandon. And so Christina set her straight and said, this is my marriage. This is my husband. I can play whatever I want to play. I can play the victim, the hero, the whatever. So stay out of my marriage. So every time that LaToya passes some kind of judgment on Christina or calls her out for acting a certain way, Christina will say, give me an example. And LaToya always fumbles the ball when it comes to giving the example. So I don't understand why LaToya doesn't have better examples of how she's been fake with her or has been fake within the friend group. So she always fumbles the ball there. So the question was to Kobe, is there a chance of you and Christina ever reconciling? And Kobe says, I don't know. I'm still healing. Healing from what? Did the girl beat you up? Did she like start horrible rumors about you online? Like, what do you mean healing? Did she betray you in some awful personal way? Because she didn't call you back when you asked her about Harper Ray. Unless I'm missing something, I probably am. Unless, other than the Harper Ray situation, what are you healing from? Or is it a situation with the publicist when she said that, I don't even know anymore. So, Brandon got really emotional when he was talking about the loss of the friendship with Russell and Kobe. It really hurt him that these two couples were no longer the way that they used to be. And Russell stepped in and said, yeah, because me and Brandon, we go all the way back. We go way, way back. Our friendship runs deep. And Russell said that he does forgive Brandon for whatever, and he just wants to move forward with them. And, Brandon obviously feels the same way. And then Kobe says that she's probably going to need a little bit more time when it comes to, making things the way they used to be with her and Christina. And that was where the segment ended. That's where the show ended. So it was an okay reunion for an okay show. I don't know. I don't have anything else to say about. What I do have to say is this. What's going on with Love and Marriage DC? We saw the trailers for Love and Marriage Huntsville. What about Love and Marriage DC? Does that get canceled? What's going on there? Because Monique isn't there, so they're going to cancel the whole show. What happened to Love and Marriage DC? Because it's coming to the point now where I'm forgetting the characters, I'm forgetting the plots and the storylines. I don't remember anything about that show anymore. What's up with that? I guess I have to go Google it. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me. I did the best I could. It's probably still not good enough when it came to Love and Marriage Detroit, but it is what it is. Reunion Part 2 is coming up next week, and I hope it's the very last part. We don't need a Part 3. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. If you like this content, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.